This is The Culture.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave podcast. My name is Darian Scalamoni. I am joined, as always, by Liz Seiko.
Hello.
And today we're going to be covering our most anticipated releases for the remainder of 2023 in film. But before we do that, please be sure to share this video if you like our content. It also helps a ton if you guys comment and throw us a like. Our subscriber numbers are continuing to grow, so if you want to be a part of the culture, be sure to hit the bell for alerts and subscribe for more content. Lots to talk about. Now, before we jump into what we are anticipating, just a reminder, some of the films that are not on this list that we were really excited for, things like Dune Part 2, unfortunately, and rightfully so, have been moved because of the ongoing Writers and Screen Actors Guild strike. So we support them and all their striking, and hopefully we get to see those movies soon. But they're not going to be on the list.
We're looking forward to
them. We're definitely looking forward to them, but they're not coming out in 2023. The films that we're going to talk about today, as of right now, are still coming out in 2023. So again,
they could
whenever
move. We don't know, but for right now, we're pumped and ready for these.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to get us started with a film that has been in the works for a little while, and it features an actor who we haven't seen in a while, as well as a filmmaker that is well storied in his own right, and that is The Killer, which stars Michael Fassbender and is directed by David Fincher. I think in general, just the two of these guys teaming together for a film is really intriguing. Fincher is one of my favorite filmmakers. Again, if you guys haven't watched our top 50 list, Social Network is personally my favorite movie of all time. So anytime there's a new Fincher, I get really excited for it. And Fassbender is an actor that's so interesting to me, and he's able to do so much, but I feel like I don't know if that his agent wasn't making the right decisions for him, but he hasn't been involved in a lot recently, and being the headliner of a Fincher movie is really exciting to me. So I don't know how you feel about that movie in particular.
I'll be honest, I actually have not heard anything about this movie until you brought it up a minute ago.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
I guess my question for you is, like, what specifically, obviously those two individuals make you excited about this movie, but what about like the script or like the trailer that you saw caught your attention?
So I haven't seen the teaser. Actually came out the day we're recording this. I actually haven't even had a chance to watch it yet. It's a short teaser though. The full length trailer I think is coming out next week.
Okay.
But again, the teaming of those two, but also Tilda Swinton is also in this film, who I think is just like, she can do no wrong. Like everything she's ever been in has been good. But him playing an assassin too, it reminds me of something along the lines of like a modern Leon the Professional.
Okay.
Or something maybe. Did you ever see You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix?
No.
I'm trying to remember who directed that, but that was it reminds me a little bit of that based on the premise and kind of just being a star vehicle for Fassbender. Now, I don't know if this is going to be an awards darling, because it seems like it might be the fare that the Academy kind of shies away from.
Plus it's coming out on Netflix.
Yeah, it is. So it is a Netflix movie, but again, Fincher's done a lot with Netflix. Did you watch Mindhunter? Oh, Mindhunter's fantastic. Well, he did Mindhunter on Netflix. He did Mank, and that got some critical acclaim.
Okay.
So it's not to say that it definitely won't get any award consideration, but in my personal opinion, I just don't think it's something that the Academy really goes for.
Yeah.
But it comes out in November. Again, Fassbender playing an assassin, and just the teaming of those two talents to me is very intriguing. It's something that I think Fassbender needs a big role. I think he needs something to kind of put him back on the map, just to everyone knows he's a great actor, but again, he's just kind of been in the dark recently, and he has this. He also has Taika Waititi's Next Goal Wins coming out as well. So, and complete opposite roles. So I think it could be a really interesting remainder of the year for Fassbender. And again, I'm just a fan of Fincher's films in general. How do you feel about Fincher's movies?
I like them. They're never really my go-to though. It's never like, oh my God, I'm dying to see that. But like, I appreciate them, and I always think that they're solid films. Like, I don't really have any like complaints. They're usually just not what I'm drawn to.
All right, that's fair. All right, give me one on your list.
Well, I'm gonna take a complete turn, and one that I'm really hyped about is Priscilla with Sofia Coppola, obviously. That I think I love Sofia Coppola, actually. I love all of her stuff. I know some people think some of her films are a little bit more nuanced and not really mainstream. But I like that because I feel like she has really good taste, and she knows how to do set design really well and how to come at something from a different point of view, which is why I'm excited to see this story, because after Elvis, I did not really love that movie. So I'm excited to see it through a different lens and also from a different point of view from Priscilla, who obviously married Elvis, because I don't actually think her story has been told yet. So I'm really excited to see how Sophia does it. And I think the casting's pretty good. I could be wrong, but I don't actually recognize the girl who is playing Priscilla, Kaylee Spaney. I don't. Let me pull up her.
I think she was in
The
let me
Craft.
see.
Legacy.
I was gonna say, I thought she was in Pacific Rim, but maybe I'm. Oh, she's in the second Pacific Rim,
which I've never seen that.
No, I haven't either, but I just remember her from being in that film.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is huge for her as an actress. Like, good for her. I think this is really going to jumpstart her career, especially if she can give a grounded performance and something that's real and honest, and that gives kind of a homage to Priscilla. Do you have any interest in this movie? Are you excited? How are you feeling about
I have a little interest in this movie. I think that I agree with you. I don't think Elvis was the greatest feature film that came out last year. And I remember before we even started doing recordings together, we did a little preview of the Oscars, and we were talking about how we were enamored by Austin Butler's performance, but everything else just didn't really sit well with us.
I keep saying it. Tom Hanks ruined that movie.
Tom Hanks was a big part of why I didn't enjoy that movie. But Jacob Elordi playing Elvis, to me, from the beginning, even hearing it, just didn't sound right to me.
You don't
no,
like
I
it?
don't. I don't know. I don't know if it's because I can't separate. The only thing I've seen him in so far in his career is Euphoria, and he plays like a complete douchebag in it. And not that Elvis is not a douchebag. We've seen that he's gone through his string of douchebaggery. Rest in peace, Elvis. But I think that he's too like. And this is probably going to sound wrong, but he seems like too pretty for Elvis, which again, Elvis
was beautiful though when he was
younger. No,
younger.
I don't mean like that. I mean like pretty boy. Like it's not like Elvis wasn't a pretty boy. He was a man. And like,
okay. But and I feel like Sophia might go into this a little bit, is that flip it. Anytime it's a biopic of like the male figure, they don't really care about who the wife is playing as long as it's a pretty person.
Okay. It's a fair
so
point.
For here, it's Priscilla's.
It is Priscilla's story, which I think
Priscilla's story. They just want somebody good looking to be on her side.
No, I totally understand, and I respect the fact that I think that's why I might be more interested in it, because it's from her perspective. Like if this was an Elvis movie with him at the front, I'd be like, I don't know about
I like
this.
it though, because it's not like you have to be Elvis and like embody him like Austin Butler did. I think this is going to be much more of like a grounded, let's look at their relationship rather than his stardom.
Okay. Well, I agree. I definitely agree with you, because, and I do think, especially based on, now I've only seen Lost in Translation from Sofia Coppola, which I absolutely loved. And I love the way she was able to direct Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson together in their relationship in that film. Because I think this is going to be handling more of the relationship between the two of them. And again, Priscilla met Elvis when she was very, very young.
Yeah, I don't remember how old she was.
So
she was young.
I think she was a teenager, but I don't remember if she was like 14, if she was 16, 17, however old. I think that is going to be a dynamic that could really play well to Sofia Coppola's talents. So I'm interested to see that part of it. But I don't know. It's not at the top of my list. It's something that I'm interested in seeing, but it wouldn't be one of the top ones for me for the rest of the year.
I respect it. I think it's going to be good.
I'm sure it will be good.
All right, what's your next one?
My next one is a movie that is kind of getting controversy recently because of a prosthetic nose. But
wait, what?
Have you not heard this?
No, what are you talking about?
All right, so the movie is Maestro. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to.
I haven't heard any of this controversy.
Oh my goodness. Should we dive deep into this?
I think you need to.
All right, so
okay, wait. So yeah, talk about Maestro first. Obviously, I know about the movie.
Okay, so
it's on my list. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, so this movie originally was supposed to be made a long time ago. With Steven Spielberg was supposed to direct it, and I think there have been multiple people up for the role. Leo at one point was up for it. Spielberg is still producing. I think Scorsese is also a producer on this.
Yeah.
And it is written, directed, and starring Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein, who's like the iconic composer.
Yep.
And he is a Jewish man. Bradley Cooper is not Jewish. And they said that they accentuated a prosthetic nose.
Oh, okay.
And there were a lot of anti-Semitic comments that people were like saying that it could have been taken as like Jew hating or things like that.
Got it.
Basically.
I have not seen any of
Leonard
that.
Bernstein's family has come out and said that they are in support of him in the role and whatever. So I think everything is all good with it.
Okay.
But it was a movie that was hot in controversy for a couple weeks.
It was getting the Twitter.
It was. Once the
run.
trailer came out, there was a little bit of controversy in it.
I will say when I watched the trailer, I was kind of like, wait, who is this for a second? And then I was like, oh my God, this is Bradley Cooper?
So
wait, what?
I remember months back seeing on-set photos of when Bradley Cooper is playing Bernstein later in life.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got gray hair and he's stressed out and trying to put together a piece of music or whatever he's doing. It might have been a stage show.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, that looks nothing like Bradley Cooper. So I thought the makeup and the hair department, like, it looks like they're doing their job. But in terms of, again, Bradley Cooper is one of my favorite just creative talents in general in Hollywood. So anything that he touches, I am at least somewhat intrigued by. And I think there's a lot of anticipation for what his follow-up is going to be, which this is for A Star Is Born.
I know.
So I think that coupled with, I mean, again, the production teams involved and people like Spielberg and Scorsese still wanted to be attached and respecting Bradley Cooper's craft.
I know. I think it's interesting though that he's directing while leading again.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's just something that he feels I guess I wonder if it helps him direct if he's in the headspace of one of the characters, because I feel like there's starting to be a repetition of like him being like, I want to be in the film as well as directing.
I think that once we get past this one, if it happens 3 films in a row, then it's like, all right, Bradley, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
But because I know even this film, like, again, he wasn't in consideration for this role, and the film kind of fell into his lap, I think. And I think if the story goes the way I'm thinking, I think Spielberg kind of brought it to him and he was like, hey, I'm not gonna have time for this before I'm done, so like, if you want to handle this. And he had total respect for the script. And I don't know, I think it's another Netflix movie, which I think is interesting. Netflix is trying to scoop up all, they're trying to
get in the Oscar world. They really are. They're going hard for it.
They've been nominated a bunch of times, haven't won yet. So.
I mean, I loved the trailer.
I did too.
I thought it was very I think it was really well done because it didn't show too much and let you keep, like, you kind of got the tone already of like, ooh, okay, it's kind of be a little bit of a romance, but then also just like actually telling the story of this person. Yeah,
I think it's a really tender and heightened version of the relationship that he has with his wife, who's played by Carey Mulligan in this, who I also love.
I know, me too.
I think she's so underrated.
But they are also saying that's a musical?
I definitely think there's going to be musical elements, maybe similar to A Star Is Born, which I think might be why he felt comfortable tackling this, coming off of a project as big as A Star Is Born was.
But then do we hope that he does something completely different after this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? Because if he does a third musical romance, I'm going to be like, all right.
No, I want to see Bradley Cooper do something in like the vein of, and maybe this is just on the top of my head because Carey Mulligan, but I want to see him do something like Drive. I want to see him do something like gritty.
Wow.
And like, I think that would be a really cool turn for him.
I want to see him go kind of comedic.
Okay.
Like, give us another like different type of Hangover.
Interesting.
You know?
Okay.
Go back to his roots a little bit.
That would definitely be an interesting take and shift from direction.
Imagine? He goes back. He
just does like
him and Adam Sandler, like doing like some. Like,
that would be fun.
Come on.
I want to see Bradley Cooper directed by the Safdies.
No. That would be good.
That would be so fun.
Okay,
anyway, all right, let's move on. It's your turn. Give me another one.
Okay, I'm gonna go to one that has. I'm pretty sure it's an indie film that's been getting a lot of hype and news. Anatomy of a Fall. It is a French film it's a French thriller film that talks about a writer trying to prove her innocence in her husband's death. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, give me a little more on this because I don't know a crazy amount. I know that it won the grand prize at Cannes earlier in the year. So
yes. Honestly, I don't know too much about it besides I watched the trailer and I thought it was really, really good. And I love Why are you laughing?
It's fine,
Why are you laughing?
It's fine, keep going.
Because I was like, I don't know too much about it. No, it just looks good. I don't know too much about it, like the filming or the who is the producer on it, but so far it has a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Okay.
which is pretty high.
Long movie.
Yeah, so
2.5 hours,
movie.
7.8 on IMDb.
But the trailer looks really good. I'm a big thriller person, and I can usually tell right away in a trailer if, you know what I don't like is when trailers for thrillers show you everything, because then it's like, okay, I don't need to see this. This did not show me everything, and I was kind of like, okay, there's definitely going to be more, obviously, because it's a 2.5 hour movie. Also, they're not going to show everything in the trailer. But I liked it. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay. I haven't watched the trailer yet, so I can't comment on it. I do remember this film going around all the trades and everything when Cannes was happening, and a lot of people really loved this film. And a lot of the critics that I like to read up on, that I trust,
we're talking about this film
in really high regard. So I like crime movies a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like one of my favorite genres or subgenres, however you want to categorize it.
Yep.
So I'll probably give it a shot. I mean, something that's like that highly rated too, and I want to start watching more international fare. This seems like something that might be even at the end of the year. This could be something that's on the a lot of top 10 lists.
I was gonna say, I think that this could sweep in a little bit in the awards season, also because it's not a huge budget. It was 6.2 million, which I feel like for a 2.5 hour movie, that's pretty low. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking up the director right now. So the director, her name is Justine Tourette, and she is French. She's done a few things. Mostly.
This definitely seems like this is her biggest thing.
But it looks like she's done 3 other features before this one. But this is her highest rated so far. So excited, and I hope it does well.
Okay. My next one is one that we talked about a little bit off camera that I really wanted to shock you in terms of the premise, because you didn't know what this was.
Hit me with it.
So
what is this one?
Right before we're big A24 fans. If you guys didn't already know that, here at Culture Wave. And there's an A24 dark comedy that is coming out starring everybody's favorite movie star, Nicolas Cage.
Wait.
Now this film
I have not heard a single thing about this.
So the film is called Dream Scenario. It comes out November 10th, and I'm just going to read you the premise.
Okay.
And then you're going to completely understand why this should be at everybody's
I won't ask
top
any
of their
questions.
list for the most anticipated film. Nicolas Cage is back with a dark comedy from A24 about a teacher whose life turns upside down when he starts to appear in millions of strangers' dreams. Balding Nicolas Cage losing his mind with Noah Centineo, Adam Sandler, and Michael Cera.
Get out!
This could be so this is like, do you think
he Oscar, like,
no,
I don't. Could you imagine he wins the Oscar?
I would love for this to be an adaptation situation. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the way that he looks, it actually reminds me a lot of.
I gotta look this up.
One of his characters. It's called Dream Scenario.
Dream Scenario.
So I actually have no idea who's the creative team behind it. So let's take a look at that as well. But I think that, first of all, Nicolas Cage to me is the most interesting human being in this art form, right? He is somebody that just doesn't give a shit ever. He'll do anything and everything because he loves movies.
Yeah.
And this is something that Julianne Nicholson is in this. It's actually described on IMDb as a horror comedy. So we love that. Tim Meadows, Kate Berlant. So I think Sandler might have just like a cameo in this. But like there's something just about the premise of that. Like it's very Being John Malkovich-y, which I also really appreciate, at least in terms of that's how it sounds based on the premise. And A24, I mean, this has to be in like my top 10 anticipated movies for the remainder of the year.
I'm still looking at things right now on him. First of all, the picture that they have on IMDb for this film is Nicolas Cage bald, and then loser written on the car behind him. I mean, what more do you need?
I'm pumped for this movie. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I'm ready.
All right,
I'm ready
pumped
for it. I think honestly, I think he could surprise us. Did you watch what was it, Pig?
I love Pig. I think Pig
That's
is
what I mean.
one of the most underrated movies of the last like 10 years.
That's what I, like,
so great.
His performances, I think some people have said they're like, Nicolas Cage, you don't know what you're getting. You could be getting Oscar-worthy performance, or you could be getting like the worst of the worst.
But I don't even know. You know what's so interesting is, and I hear him like when he talks about all his movies and interviews, like everything. We're talking like, again, like amazing art fair, like festival movies like Pig, and then like movies that are probably called like Devil in Your Backyard, like random shit. But he's so committed to whatever the movie asks for, even if the movie asks for him to be like a one-handed pimp that like has to put on like a southern accent and have like a peg leg, he's there for it. And that's why I like respect him as an artist, because I've seen that he is capable of being a great actor, but he could also do things like what I was just talking about, or things like Face Off, which is like a heightened, ridiculous 90s movie with John Travolta, and like Con Air, like that kind of stuff. Like I don't know, I love
him and Tilda almost on like the same realm of each other.
I like that.
But Tilda, I think in her career, I think the difference is Tilda from the beginning was like, I'm gonna go weird and off the wall right off the bat to get people knowing that this is my style. I feel like Nicolas Cage went a little bit more like, okay, let me do like National Treasure and like really try to be like a big actor name, and then he started going off the wall, which made everyone think like, oh my god, is he losing his mind? But really he's just a super creative, like artsy guy that's willing to do whatever's given to him.
I feel like in the beginning of his career he was basically like taking himself too seriously but turning in these great performances, and then like you said with National Treasure, and then he was doing like, that was the one that actually hit, but then he did a lot of other movies that I know like didn't hit. Like I think he did that Cirque du Freak, which I think was like a weird vampire movie that he did at like the end of the 2000s, because they thought that like it was a YA novel, they thought that was gonna hit, it didn't. And then he was basically just like, you know what, I'm not going to take myself seriously anymore.
And he was like, well, take what comes and see what happens. But could you imagine? Okay, like think of the season that we just had for the Oscars, where it's like all these actors that like have had long careers that are finally getting that moment. Can you imagine if Nicolas Cage gets nominated for this?
He could. He has an Oscar.
I know, but like...
No, but I know like at this point, seeing something like that happen,
after
it would
like
be great.
His whole career, it would be great.
I would love it. Dream scenario. It's on my list.
It's on mine now.
Let's go back to you, Liz.
Okay. Let's talk about okay, I feel like this was both on ours.
Okay.
Which is a big movie that I think a lot of people are probably excited about. Napoleon.
I thought that's what you were gonna say. Yes. Napoleon is also on my list.
Napoleon, I think this is gonna get a lot of people out to the theaters actually to go see it. Because not only Joaquin Phoenix, obviously, but I think a lot of people will be interested in this story also of Napoleon, because I don't really remember a film being made yet about him.
Yeah,
to this extent.
If there has been, it probably wasn't something that is as big or as anticipated as this. Plus, not only Joaquin, multi-time Oscar winner, but Ridley Scott coming in to direct him again.
Yep.
Directed him for Gladiator. So I think that excuse me, the combination of the two of them, plus just the epic, like people just, again, the movie's called Napoleon because people know him just by one name, right? So I think that not only that, but the production design, which I know our producer Zach and I have talked a lot about it too. Like there's so much involved in just the scale and the epicness of what this movie can be. And I actually really like pairing Joaquin and Vanessa Kirby as well.
Do you? Okay.
I do. I think that Joaquin is just he's an established great. A lot of people love him. He's a great actor. Vanessa Kirby, I think, is terrific, and I think that she's just a rising star. So I think that this movie's going to lead. I think it's going to be a really, really big Oscar movie this year. I think, unless it really surprises everybody in a negative way, I think that this could be one of the films that we see a lot of below the line and above the line nominations for.
I'm trying to see if they have out how much it costs to make them.
I'm gonna anticipate it was at least like 150 million.
They have, okay, so it says Napoleon is estimated to be made on a budget of around 130 million.
I was so close.
So close. Which makes sense.
The trailer's
to me.
great.
Trailer looks great. They got a lot going on. The costumes look incredible. design, production, everything. I mean, it's looking like they do huge battle scenes too, which I think is needed to tell this story. So yeah, I think it's gonna get a big crowd out in the theaters actually, because it's also, I believe it's coming out around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I believe it comes out November 22nd,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Napoleon is definitely one that I'm really excited for, and I think it's going to be. Now again, Barbie and Oppenheimer are two movies that they'll be there at the end of the conversation.
They will.
But in terms of like, I don't want to say guaranteed like Oscar babies or Oscar baity, but like Napoleon fits
It does.
what we can be
Unless
seeing.
it's a total flop.
And it could be.
And it's just really boring.
And Ridley Scott's kind of hit or miss.
Mhm.
Like he'll have some really, and he's a terrific filmmaker. He's made some of the greatest movies ever. But in recent years, some things don't work as well. So,
which I will say, the thing that makes me a little like warranted on it is that I feel like they were very hush about this in the beginning of the year.
what do you mean?
Do you agree? Or like I feel that this hasn't been talked about as much as some other films have been.
I think something that might be actually hurting it too is the marketing. Like, how much marketing can they do right now? I mean, the movie's not coming out for another almost really like 3 months. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like, I think this movie could potentially be affected by not having
they're gonna
Joaquin.
push?
But at the same time, Joaquin isn't really that kind of
He
guy.
doesn't do a lot of press.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. But I don't know. I think that Barbie and Oppenheimer have just taken up so much of the realm
I know.
that it's hard for anything else to
Well,
kind
now
of squeak
anything
through.
that does a little bit of marketing, it's like, you didn't go to Barbie's extent. Like, you're not,
Exactly.
you're not going full ball.
You know what? I think this is a perfect time to transition though to a movie that did also have marketing material that we were
Mhm.
disappointed by. You know what I'm referring to?
Oh, yes. So one of the movies that I was going to put on my list that was going hard this year was Wonka. And unfortunately, we have taken it off the list because the trailer has wrecked it for me. The trailer,
This movie's gonna suck.
this movie's going to be so bad.
I think it could be good. Probably not though. But here's the thing. I want to root so badly for Paul King, who directed it.
Yeah.
You've seen the Paddington films?
Yes.
One of the greatest franchises to ever live.
Oh.
I'm not saying that
Oh,
in hyperbole either.
wow.
Paddington is fantastic. It is heartwarming and it is amazing. And I stand by all the Paddington stands out there. But Wonka was not
It's
what
a
he
miss.
needed.
It's really a miss.
And not what Timothée Chalamet needed either. I think he's such a talented actor. He's doing he's having so many great choices. For this to be like, and Dune is a tentpole too, like it is.
Well, that's what I think I think he's doing too many big name films, and I think he is too devoted to like Dune right now that all of a sudden Wonka ended up being a big thing that he couldn't actually invest in.
See, I actually think it's the opposite. I think he got so excited by the fact he shot both Dune films back to back. He wanted to do something that was so polar opposite of how serious, because now, yes, Dune is a franchise, but he's being directed by Denis, and it's a film that is like very dark, and it's basically it's what Star Wars was inspired by, but it's
Yes.
a way darker concept and a way darker
Which
tone.
Dune totally would have made it on my list, but it's not coming out now in
Yeah,
2023.
but I think Wonka, he was like, I need to go like bubbly, and I need to go fruity, and I need to sing, and I need to wear a top hat, and I need to talk to Hugh Grant as an Oompa Loompa, and it's not gonna work.
No.
I just don't think it's gonna work.
I just also think because a lot of things I saw was, okay, we're doing a new Wonka. Like, give us a whole new take on it. Don't make it the same films that we've already had. And this, to me, it just feels kind of stale. Like, we've already seen this version of a Willy Wonka, and it's not anything new. I think it's going to be the worst Wonka. I think
I think so too.
I do. I don't think it's going to do well.
I think that they should have left Willy Wonka alone. I mean, they tried it. They
Or-
tried it with Depp.
I mean, do you think it's going to do well with like families and kids?
I think it definitely could. I don't know if, like, critically I could see it not doing well, but I
I
think
think it'll do horribly.
yeah, I don't think it'll do well, but I think commercially there's still room for it to, especially because it's slated to come out, I think, like Christmas week. So
Yes.
it's a movie that I could definitely see families going to see it. There's another film that just barely missed my list that's called Wish, which is an animated Disney movie that apparently looks great. That comes out the same weekend though, so it's a competitive weekend. Like and I think Aquaman is still coming out, Aquaman 2. So there's gonna be a lot to see
I
around
just
Christmas,
see it being
but
a loss. I don't think it's gonna do well. I think
I wonder how much that movie cost to make.
it must have been up there. To me, all right, it gave me the same vibes as The Greatest Showman. I've said that a few times now. But I just don't see it. It doesn't look like anything new. It doesn't look like a fresh take on anything. So it's like, why did you remake it?
I think there's so many great people in it too.
Well, I know.
Chalamet,
For me, it was just a
Sally
paycheck.
Hawkins, Rowan Atkinson, Olivia Colman. Like, Olivia Colman is in this.
I know, but I think she just took it as a paycheck.
You're maybe not wrong.
I know.
The movie cost 125 million to make. I think it might make its budget back.
No, I don't think so.
All right, I'll take that bet.
I don't think so. Like maybe I won't watch it.
Okay.
Maybe I won't.
No one's forcing you to watch it, Liz.
They're not getting my like $25.
Oh boy. All right, let's move on. Wonka didn't make our list.
Okay,
for obvious reasons.
What do you have?
So this is a complete left turn.
Please get us back
All right,
on
so
track.
the movie I had on my list that I don't think was on your list, and again, as many people on here know, I'm very biased towards wrestling, but it's called The Iron Claw.
Mm-hmm.
It's an indie, and it's about the true story about the Von Erich brothers. It's a family of wrestlers that were all brothers, and they had an amazing history in the 80s in professional wrestling, but like there's a lot of tragedy in their story where a lot of them died at young ages, a lot of them died for a bunch of different things, but the three leads excuse me,
They're big
in
names.
this film, it's Zac Efron, who I'm interested to see how he could do with material that I know is going to be one of the darker things he's ever done.
He's gonna kill it.
I think he could do good.
He's gonna do great.
He's like in wrestler shape, which I really appreciate.
He's ready for this.
Jeremy,
he's not a kid. He's not like a teenager boy anymore.
no,
you
he's.
know?
I mean, I think he takes himself seriously as an actor sometimes too. Like for sure, he's worked with a lot of great filmmakers. Sean Durkin did direct this, who I don't think I've actually seen any of his films, but I know that the one indie that he had done that I've heard a lot of really great things about that still has, unfortunately, it's still on my watch list, is Marcy May Marlene. Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's Elizabeth Olsen, and that was a big festival movie when it came out in the early 2010s. Sarah Paulson was also in it, John Hawkes. And then he followed that up with The Nest, which was another indie with Jude Law and Carrie Coon. So this is kind of the biggest thing he's ever done because it's covering a story that at least in sports history people are aware of. But the three main brothers in it, Kevin Von Erich, Kerry Von Erich, and David Von Erich, like we said, Zac Efron, Harris Dickinson, as well as Jeremy Allen White, who is
The Bear
is coming off The
and
Bear.
Shameless.
And Shameless, but The Bear is now, I think, even gotten him into a different level of stardom.
I think so too.
And this is going to be the first thing we see him in that is not The Bear.
Yeah.
So,
which people have said about The Bear, it's very similar to his character in Shameless. So I think this will be really interesting to see him not on a television show and not as a Chicago trying to get by character.
yeah, this is going to be a much more serious. Like, I don't think there's going to be much comedy in this at all. I think it's, like I said, it's going to be a very dark and it's if it's done the way that I'm hoping it is, I think it's going to be in the vein of like a Foxcatcher, and that's the way it really should be handled because of the history of the family and the unfortunate tragedies that have happened. And I don't want to dive too much into that because I want to leave it. Everyone I think should see this movie.
Yeah, because I don't know the story at all really about them.
So don't do your research. Watch the
won't.
movie and see it.
I won't even watch
way.
the trailer.
Don't watch the trailer.
Also, A24.
Also A24. Lily James also with a supporting role. Maura
know.
Tierney, Holt McCallany. So it's a great cast.
When's this coming out?
This comes out, I believe.
Christmas?
I think yes, the same day as Wonka.
Wow.
So again,
you know what?
it's
I'm gonna give all my money to this one.
I might see this movie 4 times before I see Wonka once. Absolutely.
Should we do a double viewing?
So bad.
Start with Wonka.
We still
then
love
go to
you,
this.
Timothy Chalamet.
No, are
please.
you kidding me? I'm a Timothy Chalamet.
Timmy, come on the
Love you.
podcast. We love you. Just don't make another mistake like Wonka ever again.
Don't. Otherwise, unfollowing you on Instagram.
All right. Next up, what else do we got for you? There's a big sequel coming out, a big fat sequel coming out that I think you really want to talk about.
Okay, this is what everybody should be seeing and talking about for the next few weeks. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, number 3. They're going to Greece, and it's gonna be incredible. Are you gonna see it? Probably not.
No, I haven't seen any of these films.
Shut up.
Tell me how you really feel.
You've never seen like the original
No,
one?
and my mother has seen the first film, I think, 365 times.
As she should. And
once
as
a
you
day,
should.
every day
Good.
for the whole year.
Cheers. Cheers.
Now, I've heard the first movie's actually really good.
Both. I like both. I mean, the first one is iconic. Like, so many good moments, so many funny moments. I showed Tyler it probably like a year ago, and he was cracking up, and he was like, wait, this is actually a funny movie.
I think it's interesting how big of a gap there is between the sequels. So we have
yeah, because I think they made it when they were
2002 was the first film, and the second one didn't come out till 2016.
Yeah, because I think the two leads, who I don't know their names off the top
So
of
we
my
have
head.
Nia Vardalos, who also wrote the first one. I wonder
Yes.
if she also wrote the second one. And John Corbett.
I'm like pretty sure they.
She has written and directed all three
Yes.
Big Fat Greek Wedding movies.
I think that it took a little while, but I'm pretty sure that she then was like, let's do this. You know what? This is also a good sequel because they gave enough time so that they could actually have a different storyline. Do you want me to give you a little bit of a breakdown so you know what's going on?
I would love to, but before we get into that, I just want to say I'm totally on board for this film.
Why?
Because I went on IMDb and I saw the poster, and Joey Fatone is in this movie. So that's all you need to know.
That's all you need. That's all you
As
need
an
to know.
NSYNC fan, I have to go out to the theater and I have to give my money
And when
to
I tell
Joey
you,
Fatone.
his performance is going to blow your mind away.
I can't wait. All right, give me
Okay,
a
so
gist.
the first one, it's what the name gives you. It's a My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It is about a Greek wedding that happens and all the events that take place around this Greek family. Can't really give you more on that. It's great. You should watch it. The second one takes place maybe like 15, 16 years later, where the couple that get married then have a kid who is fully grown. I think she's maybe 16 or 18. And he's getting ready to go to college. And it's about the family dealing with that. But then also there's a second wedding that happens, a surprise wedding that nobody expects. So I'm not going to spoil that for
Please
you
don't.
or for any of our listeners, but it's great. And then the third one, this is a spoiler, so which they do put in the trailer, but unfortunately, I believe the actor who plays the father in the first two films has passed away, and so in the third film, they say that the actual father has passed away, and so in his honor, they go to Greece to find his ancestors, meet the family, and just overall enjoy their heritage. So that is what I am going to be seeing. I don't remember when it comes out.
I think it comes out next week.
Yes.
Or in a couple weeks.
Yes.
Should we see this together?
Should we? And then should we do an episode?
Go opening night? I'm not opposed to it.
Are you going to be able to watch both before?
Oh yeah.
Tyler will come with
If I
us.
go inside my house and I tell my mother, Mom, I'm ready to watch My Big Fat Greek
She'll
Wedding.
say I've been waiting for this day.
Exactly. So yes, we'll make that happen. Wow.
Wow.
I am
Are you
enamored.
I think you might be most excited about that out
It's
of all the ones that I
catapulted.
named.
It's catapulted maybe above Dream Scenario.
That one or Priscilla?
I don't know. It's pretty tough. I think we have one film left.
We do. We have one more.
And this is my personally most anticipated film.
I mean, I am excited for this one. I think a lot of people are.
I think that even at the beginning of the year, if you were to ask me,
You would have
excuse
said
me,
this right away?
I probably would have said this is number one.
Nice.
I'm a huge Martin Scorsese is probably my favorite filmmaker of all time. As an Italian man,
Understandable.
I think that we have a lot
in
in
common.
common. No, but I just love, I love so many of his films, and I love how diverse he is in terms of what he can create and just the level of intricacies he can put into his work.
Yeah.
Him working with Leo every time, sign me up.
Chef's
right?
kiss. Beautiful.
You add in Robert De Niro, you add in Jesse Plemons, and you add in this whole epic that takes place with the Osage Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's a story that is so rich. And I love that the film, basically, he decided he wanted to take the novel and adapt it. And then basically went back and attacked it from a whole different perspective with, I believe Terrence Winter was his co-writer on it. I just want to double check. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Eric Roth.
Okay.
And Eric Roth had previously written. He wrote the first Dune. He wrote Curious Case of Benjamin Button. He wrote Forrest Gump. He wrote The
your
Insider.
favorite.
So he's done a bunch of stuff. And I think he's done something with Leo or with Scorsese. Let me see. He's done Munich. He's done Ali. He's done tons of great, highly acclaimed movies. So they basically took the novel and they were like, all right, we're going to keep a lot of the elements that make this story whole in what it is, but we're going to take it from a different perspective. And they basically have surrounded the film with the romance of Leo's character, who is not a major character in the novel, and Lily Gladstone's character. I think she's definitely getting nominated for this. She looks amazing in the trailers. Yeah. I heard she's like a powerhouse in it, and I think she might be the front runner probably to win as like a strong female protagonist in a Scorsese movie.
Okay.
And I love Jesse Plemons, like everything he does. I actually recently saw Game Night. Have you ever seen Game Night?
No.
Game Night's great.
Wait. Like, hold on. No, I think I have.
Rachel McAdams,
Yes,
Jason
I have.
Bateman. Okay.
I totally have.
So I recently saw that, and just another reason why I love him. I think he's great in everything. But this film, I'm so excited for it. It's, like I said, it's been one of the highly anticipated movies for me. It's coming out in October, so it's coming out relatively soon. It's a big Apple movie. Apple bought it. So, and I'm rooting for Apple. Apple does some really good stuff. They won Best Picture a couple of years ago with Coda. So let's see if they can continue that trend.
Yeah,
what say you, Liz?
I think this is kind of like Leo's niche. I feel like is like a big budget movie like this that has a huge story. Because I'm looking at the last thing that he was in Don't Look Up, which
Not my favorite
either. I thought that it was super off brand for him, which I mean, hey, sometimes they need to do that. I
think he was good in the movie. I don't think the movie as a whole is very good, but I didn't have anything wrong with his acting in it.
Yeah,
I didn't love his
thought
character.
He was one-dimensional, honestly. I
that's
don't think
fair.
he had. I don't think he was doing that much. I think he was just kind of having fun, which I mean, hey,
Leo doesn't get to do that.
You don't
very
get
often.
to do that a lot, but I think this is his sweet spot. So I think it's going to be really good. It's also a big budget, 200 mil. So I mean,
big movie. It's going to need to make a lot of money,
which I think it will. I think it's getting a lot of buzz already. It has 97% on Rotten Tomatoes already. So
based on the critics that had seen it, yeah.
Yes. So that alone will get people to go and see it just because. And then we'll see how it does. But I have high expectations.
I do too.
So I hope I'm not let down.
I hope so either. I hope not.
I hope it's not.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not. But I think that's pretty much it. We covered I think 10 films today.
We did.
There's a lot more that I think we're both anticipating, but we don't want to hold you guys forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll be reviewing a lot of things. I'm sure these 10 we'll be talking
about them as they come out. We'll be letting you know what our opinions are. If there's any that we kind of left off and you are looking forward to it, let us know so that we put it on our list and keep an eye out for it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you for joining us for this episode. We hope you guys liked our conversation on our 10 most anticipated films for the rest of the year. Just signing off, I'm Darian Scalamoni.
I'm Liz Seiko.
And we'll see you guys next time.